Hey!
Hey, hi.
Welcome to the Natasha and Debbie show.
Hello.
That's brutal. Just two patriotic girls, so please don't take us the wrong way.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the Natasha and Debbie show where everything is totally normal.
It is indeed. And welcome to bonus Friday episode. So hopefully you're half as excited as we are. If you are, hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. But only do that if you enjoy our content, not because we ask you to. What is up?
Seriously, I just walked in here and she's covered in birds. What's going on?
Covered in birds. I just have some friends that flew in because they heard that we were doing this video. Been wanting to do this video for so long on the most common British birds and bird song identification. And so some of my friends here, northern cardinals, which is the Ohio state bird where we live, also the state bird to more states than any other bird in America. Fun fact for you. They wanted to hang. And the white dudes, they just wanted to come chill too. So they just wanted to join.
She is seriously a bird nerd, which is totally a compliment to anyone who likes birds.
In America. Also birder, whatever.
But today we're going to learn about your birds.
Yes. And I'm thankful because we got this in the P.O. Box last year, the British Bird Guide, which is awesome because it's from the RSPB. And I have looked at the ducks and things like that because I knew I was going to find a video on this one day. And so I haven't looked at all of them. But I do know a little bit about your birds, not a lot. I had never seen your robin until we started doing the channel and people sent us cards and homemade cards with robin. Oh, it's so pretty.
Absolutely stunning bird.
Yeah, go look at our ugly robin. But I know the gray tit, the blue tit, those are the only ones I know. But that's that. So I've been dying to do this video for so long. We had it on, we were going to do this months ago. These guys are excited. I don't know about you. Hey, stop nibbling my, that tickles. This guy's a little too frisky.
Don't let him loose in the house.
Okay. Debbie's afraid of birds. Fun fact. But anyway, let's get into this. This is a longer video, but I can't wait for this. So I hope you guys are excited. I really, really do. If you don't like birds, I don't know what to tell you, man. They're one of the most relaxing things to look at, and just listening to their songs. It's such an awesome thing. Yeah, it's great. So let's do this.
In the UK, you can generally hear birdsong all year.
Yay.
But what species you hear and how much you hear them singing will vary depending on the time of year and the hour of the day. Whether you live in the city or the countryside, there's usually a lovely chorus of birds to enjoy. It's easy just to sit back and allow their beautiful song to take you away to nature's paradise.
Sorry.
More often than not, you hear birds, but you don't see them. Wouldn't it be amazing to hear their song and know the species? Even to know what the call means. Identifying birds is so much fun. Welcome to Animal Educate. My name's Abby. Today we're going to be looking at the most common bird songs and calls you're most likely to hear in Britain and how to identify them.
Teach us.
The UK has a large variety of bird life, as it consists of many wintering and breeding sites for many different species. Birds that have been recorded in the wild state are on the British list. Some breed here in the millions, while others, they've only been here once or twice. The British list is maintained by the British Ornithologists Union, the BOU. As of June 2021, the British list stands at 626 species. Birds that produce song are known as songbirds, and although many bird species across the world produce some sort of call or sound, fewer produce songs. The bird song is probably the most familiar sound to us because it's what we would find perhaps most appealing. They're tuneful vocalizations that can be made all throughout the day, but especially the morning. Songs are often sung by male birds, or not limited to, and this is because they're attracting a mate or they're marking their territory. Bird calls and other noises, they're used more for specific communication. Short piercing calls are often used as an alarm, and loud chirps, they're used to maintain contact with the flock. And of course, tweets from
tit.
chicks demand parental attention. And you have lots of other different sounds for communication during flight. It's endless, really. Birds make lots of different noises.
This is beautiful already.
The dawn chorus is an intense period of birdsong. It starts roughly in March, about an hour before sunrise, and this continues all the way through to July. It corresponds with the mating season.
I was just going to say, I know what that is.
It's also not unusual to hear birdsong at night, especially from the robin.
We'd like to apologize for the bird porn. Weren't aware it was coming. Yes, let's get in the list.
A report in 2020 on bird populations by the British Trust of Ornithology has revealed the UK's most common birds. It suggests that the wren has become the UK's most common bird with over 11 million pairs.
Hares.
In second place was the robin with over 7.35 million pairs.
What?
The third was the house sparrow with 5.3 million pairs. And then the wood pigeon, 5.15 million pairs.
Okay, the reason I'm giving you that look is y'all know you brought us your birds. And we have way more sparrows here than you do. You gave them to us.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Shakespeare thing. It was coming, I think it started with 40 on the starling end, the starlings. They released 40 in Central Park in New York. And I don't even know how many gajillions. It's gajillions
There's
now.
a lot. I think those way overpopulated robins. See, way more of the other birds out there than
There's
robins.
a ton of them, but this
There's
is
a lot of robins.
surprisingly a low number. But she said pairs, so I'm not sure. I don't know the actual numbers off the top of my head.
Then the chaffinch and blackbird with 5.05 million pairs each.
Never seen this guy. That's a blackbird. I've heard of them.
I'm going to list some of the birds that you're more likely to hear in Britain, but it does depend on location, it depends on the abundance in that area, and I'm also going to list a few birds that are declining in population. It's a really good idea for you to be able to identify these birds, so you can document this, so you can record this for conservation efforts.
Pigeon.
The wood pigeon.
We have rock pigeons.
This is the UK's largest pigeon. It's mainly grey with a white neck patch and white wing patches. They're found across the UK in fields and woodland areas, but also in towns and cities, parks and gardens. They have a low-pitched cooing with a 5-note structure. Alongside the song, you'll usually hear the loud clattering sound of its wings when it takes flight.
I'm loving this.
The chaffinch is one of the most widespread and abundant birds in Britain and Ireland.
Really?
They can be seen across the UK in hedgerows, woodlands, parks and fields, and lots of gardens.
I am just like a second late on that. I can see why it's called a chaffinch. Finches have very distinctive markings on the back of the wings, and that's very similar to ours, of course. So, and absolutely beautiful. I've never heard of a chaffinch, never seen a chaffinch, but to find out it's one of your more common birds is awesome. That's a beautiful bird. Absolutely stunning. I'm loving this video more than I should.
Fields and lots of gardens.
Oh, that's so cool. How many of you have these?
They have a patterned plumage, and this helps them to blend in when feeding on the ground.
Yeah, that's true.
When they fly, they reveal a flash of white on the wings.
A little yellow in the back.
You'll usually hear chaffinches before you see them. They have a loud song and varied calls. The typical song of the male chaffinch consists of a descending rattle of musical notes. And this is followed by an accelerated ending. So listen out for the descending scale. They're known to repeat this enthusiastically. Although the song only lasts 2 to 3 seconds, it is repeated a lot.
That's cool. I love it.
The goldfinch.
Whoa.
That is very different than the American goldfinch.
Way different.
Way different.
But that's kind of cool. I like the little burst of orange on its head.
Oh, watch out!
Oh.
Sorry. Look who just showed up. American goldfinch just flew in. I got you, little buddy.
Birds flying in the house.
American goldfinch just showed up because he heard the word goldfinch. Hey, buddy. So this is the American goldfinch, which looks kind of like a chicken, but not in real life. Not in real life. This guy, hi, I didn't mean that to be rude. But this is what our goldfinch looks like. You might want to Google it. It'd be better. But they're very bright. And in the summertime, this like little guy, even though it's not summer anymore, they have a black hat. They lose the black hat. This is the male. And they lose the black hat about this time of the year. And it goes away, and they become a lot less yellow, which is pretty cool. But this little guy just flew in here to say hi, and that's your cousin. Yeah, I know, right? That's your British cousin. So, yeah, this is the American goldfinch. So you want to watch with us? Okay, cool. I'm totally normal. I'm fine.
The goldfinch is a highly coloured finch with a bright red face and a yellow wing patch. They're sociable, often breeding in loose colonies. In winter, many UK goldfinches migrate as far south as Spain.
Beautiful.
You'll find them near scattered bushes and trees, rough ground, and by thistles and other seedling plants. They're most common in southern England. The goldfinch has a liquid twittering song and call.
Sound very different.
It's often described as light, with a succession of notes that come out very fast.
Beautiful. Okay, that's so cool to see your goldfinch because never seen it. I apologize, guys, but this guy just flew in too. Uh-oh, we have a blue jay. This is a blue jay. They are incredibly smart birds. They're members of the crow family, and they're large birds. Not quite the scale here, but they're about 9 inches. But the blue jay, which we have a ton of, they love peanuts, and they're, like I said, super smart. But
very vocal when they want more peanuts.
They will yell at you. They can be a little bit bullyish. Ours in the backyard are well-mannered. Train them, like this guy. But the really cool thing about the blue jays, and not just blue jays, but any blue bird you'll see, and I will try to shut up after this, is there is actually no real blue pigment here. This is a really kind of what's the phrase I'm looking for? Optical illusion. And you can, I would like you to look this up online. I don't have time to give a science lesson here, and I know you don't want to hear it anyway, but there is absolutely no blue pigment in any blue birds in nature, not just here, but everywhere. What I mean by that is light refraction, prisms, stuff like that. If they're actually brown, there's melanin in here. So for example, if I had a cardinal, like I have, don't worry, I won't do this to you, and his wing, one of his little feathers came off, and I ground up his red feather and did the same with the blue jay's feather, the cardinal's feather ground up will be red. The blue jay's feather will be brown. Interesting fact. And that's all blue birds. So check that out. Okay, you came in to he just wanted to let everybody know that and to not be left out because I didn't put peanuts out before the video. So I apologize for that.
The great tit. The largest UK tit. This bird is green and yellow with a glossy black head and white cheeks.
Where's the green?
They can be found in woodlands, parks and gardens across the UK. They are a woodland bird, but they've readily adapted to man-made habitats, so have become familiar to gardens. They have an iconic high-pitched and squeaky song,
Yeah, they do.
which makes them quite easy to identify by sound. They alternate between 2 notes of different pitches.
That's actually really cool.
The magpie. The magpie has a black and white plumage and a long tail. Close up, they can take on a purplish blue sheen. You'll find magpies across England, Wales and Northern Ireland.
Okay.
They're more localised in Scotland.
Looks like he's wearing a little tux.
Well, and I know I've heard some people on our Facebook Patreon tell us you guys have like a superstition with the magpie where you say good morning to it. Otherwise, bad luck if you see one by itself.
Oh, interesting.
We have an American magpie, which is out in the west, nowhere near where we live. It's out west. And ours has like it looks almost identical. This is so cool. If you guys are liking this, please hit that like button. I mean, how cool is it to hear the sounds? Like maybe let us know if you're learning something, if you're hearing sounds that you didn't know match that bird. Because this is just the coolest thing ever. See how prepared we're going to be when we come over there? Yeah.
They're seen in a range of different habitats, from farmland to upland moors. They have a distinctive rattling call, which is quite abrasive. It's almost like a chattering.
Is it scaring you?
Sounds terrifying.
Thrush?
The song thrush.
We have like a wood thrush that looks similar.
The song thrush is a very popular garden songbird,
And I think
but their numbers have declined. It's smaller and browner than the missel thrush, with smaller spotting. It has warm brown upper parts, with a creamy yellow throat and breast riddles. This bird repeats song phrases, and their songs are easier to identify. They repeat each of their short phrases up to 3 times before moving on to a completely different one.
Okay.
Their notes are quite confident and powerful. The collared dove.
Yes.
Collared doves are a pale
those are so-
pinky brown
I've
grey
never seen one,
colour.
though.
They
Yeah,
have a
that's so
distinctive
pretty.
black neck collar. They have deep red eyes. They can be seen just about anywhere, often around towns and villages, but they're common to gardens.
Yeah.
If there's a lot of food available, you may see a flock, but more commonly they're seen in pairs or on their own. Their monotonous cooing will be familiar to most. It's similar to the sound of a wood pigeon, but it's a lot more persistent.
So we call those here the Eurasian collared dove. And I know in my Ohio Field Guide book, it says we have them here in the state. I've never seen one of those.
Nope.
We just have doves. It just doesn't have the collar. And I wish I could see one of those because those are just really pretty.
Mhm.
Much prettier than just our boring morning doves.
The robin,
Yeah, you have
the
the cool
UK's
robin.
favourite bird. With its bright red breast,
So
you'll
cute.
see the robin all year round, especially at Christmas. But more
much
so on
smaller than
Christmas
ours.
cards. Robins sing nearly all year round. Don't let their cute appearance fool you. They're aggressively territorial,
I've heard that
and they're
from
quick
people.
to drive away intruders.
Just kidding.
Robins live across the UK in hedgerows, woodlands, gardens and parks.
He looks
You'll often
frumpy.
hear them at night. They also sing through the winter when other species fall silent. So this
Wow,
is a
that's
good
beautiful.
time to listen out for them. And this will make it easier for you to identify them by their sounds. They have a delicate song with warbling notes. You'll also hear whistles and clear pauses.
I
They'll
like
sound a
those
lot clearer and powerful in the spring and summer, whereas in the winter they sound more mournful. You're also likely to hear them making a tick sound.
This is beautiful.
The blackbird.
That's a
The
big
male
boy.
blackbird is black, whereas the females are brown, often with spots and streaks.
Okay.
The
Wow.
bright orange-yellow beak and eye-ring make an adult male blackbird very striking.
Yeah,
Blackbirds
exactly.
are found everywhere across the countryside. In gardens, you'll find them on coasts and hills. They have a mellow song. It's low-pitched and flute-like. The songs
I
of
like
the
their song.
blackbird and the song thrush are quite similar, but the blackbirds are less repetitive. Blackbirds can produce a shrill alarm call and sometimes a rapid rattling sound.
Okay. Those are. I wanted to know
The
what size they were.
starling. Starlings have a
These are the bane of my existence as well, because we have too many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we call them the European starling because we don't have starlings otherwise.
Right.
And if you take away how many of them there are, a large group of starling, you call a murmuration. And like you have a bunch of crows, it's a murder of crows.
Yeah.
My bird nerd
I do
is
now.
my bird nerd is showing. But we have so many of them.
So many of them that were just
It's insane. Yeah,
sit upon
I'm
the
sure
feeders.
it
That's all you'd
happens.
see.
Yeah, I'm sure it happens to you guys too. But they are the bane of my existence. Them and the doves.
Mm-hmm.
And the sparrows, because there's so many of them, they just
Yeah.
take over all the feeders to where none of the other little guys can get anything.
short tail, a pointed head and triangular wings. At a distance they look black, but close up you'll see they have a glossy sheen of purples and greens.
In the summer.
It's still very common in Britain, but the population
juvenile.
has declined elsewhere, so it's on the red list.
Oh,
They're
not here.
widespread across the UK, but they're most abundant in southern England. They're very common in the garden. Starlings are noisy, and they spend a lot of the year in flocks. They produce a truly unique song. You'll hear whistles, cracking notes and squawks,
She will.
whines. The mix of all these sounds lasts a while too, sometimes more than a minute for each song.
We have plenty of them here, though, so we could
The
populate
blue
that.
tit.
They're so
The blue
cute.
tit is a beautiful mix of blue, white, yellow and green. And it's known to be a very attractive and one of the most recognisable garden visitors. They're common to hedgerows, in
I wish we had
woodlands, parks and gardens. They're found across the whole of the UK with the exception of some Scottish islands.
Oh, they're so
They
cute.
have a short trilling song. This is 2 or 3 whistled notes led by a lower pitched trill, and it varies in length.
They're so cute. I wish we had them. I really do.
The house sparrow.
We have plenty of these.
Monitoring suggests a severe decline in the UK house sparrow population.
What?
Recently estimated as dropping by 71% between 1977 and 2008.
Okay, hold up. I mean, I could go outside on a single day, winter, summer, spring, fall. I could not even count that high, how many we have of these. And I'm not even just talking on a feeder. I'm talking anywhere.
Yep.
You go to a parking lot. They're everywhere.
They are.
So that shocks me to hear that. I'm absolutely surprised by
While
this.
the decline in England continues. House sparrows can be found in the centre of cities, they can be found in farmland and the countryside. The house sparrow is quite noisy. They have
Yes.
an unsophisticated song.
I agree with that.
They make simple chirps, and they often sing for more than several minutes. They certainly put the effort in.
That was a male house sparrow.
The wren. The wren is a tiny brown bird.
Debbie's favorite.
It's quite dumpy, almost rounded, with a fine bill. They can be found across the UK in woodland, farmland, moorland, heathland, and other habitats. It's the most common UK breeding bird, but it suffers declines during prolonged cold winters. They make a variety of harsh sounds, like churs and chatters and rattles.
They are a little bird with a big sound. And yes, so we do have wrens here. In fact, I believe, check me if I'm wrong on this, we have 9 different species of wrens. And Debbie's favorite bird, they're so little guys, and I'm sure you guys know it
They're
too.
tiny.
They make such a loud song. At least the Carolina wrens do. But that's Debbie actually, I made her tell me, come on, you have to have a favorite bird, pick one. And that's what you picked.
That's the one I picked.
Yeah. My favorite bird is a Carolina chickadee. There's also a black-capped chickadee. We're right on the cusp of border where we get the Carolina, not the black-capped. They're a little bit more north. But I love the Carolina chickadee, have since I was a child. They're very tiny. They're very smart. They fly so cool and there's just so much cool things about them. But I've also now recently started calling them the Freddie Mercury bird.
You have. I like those guys too. They're cute and little, and they just kind of zip around. They're fun.
They're awesome. But I'm loving this. I hope you're liking this and seeing. I mean, yes, we have a couple birds in common here, only because you've brought them to us. I noticed nothing we have that have come to you. I wonder why.
True.
Here, okay, cool.
Here's some tips on learning to identify bird songs and bird calls. Choose somewhere easily accessible, but also try and set up somewhere where you're not too close to them.
And away from
Hedgerows
cats.
are obviously great, trees and bushes, but try not to get too close. Gardens and parks are great
beautiful.
locations. If you're lucky enough to have an outdoor space, put up seed, nut and fat feeders. This will attract the birds to you, and they're likely to sing nearby. Listen out early morning and the hour before sunset. Listen, then look. Focus on the most frequent calls you hear. Don't try to hear or identify all of them at once. It's much easier if you just deal with a few species. Once you've learned the most common sounds and 2 or 3 species, you'll find it becomes easier to differentiate them from the less common.
That's exactly what I did.
Use mnemonics and rhymes. Make sure you're considering the rhythm, the tone and pitch of the sounds. For example, you could identify whether it's cheerful, whether it's mournful or even angry. Does it sound relaxed or in a rush to get through its tune? There's lots of apps and brilliant websites that you can use to identify them. So listen to recorded examples online and familiarise yourself with them.
Yeah.
What? Don't do it.
Natasha's idea of bird watching
is genius.
It is pretty genius. She'll take a Bluetooth speaker, set it outside, look up the call of the bird, play it, and within minutes that bird will be nearby. No. It is super smart.
But here you can hear them.
The most important thing to know about birds
all day
is how important they are to the ecosystem.
Yes.
They're seed dispersers, amongst lots of other things. They fulfill lots of different roles in the environment. More than 38 million birds have disappeared from the UK in the last 50 years.
That's Christ.
Humans have overrun the environment. There's intensive farming, oil pollution, transport. There's population growth. They face many threats. There's a climate crisis going on, and birds are obviously part of that. Fortunately, there's so many things that you can do to help. Give birds shelter. Make them a birdhouse so they have somewhere to nest and shelter from the elements. Provide fresh water in your garden.
Who would like to see on Patreon Debbie make me the birdhouse I've been asking for 2 years?
Oh.
In the comments, drop us a line.
Invest in a bird bath or a shallow dish. Plant bird-friendly plants like rowan or hawthorn. There's lots of great natural food sources, and they could also help to provide shelter. You could make a bird feeding station, or you could buy one. Plant some wildflowers to attract insects that birds love to feed on. You could take part in the RSPB Big Garden Birdwatch. If you have cats, it's a good idea to buy them a collar with bells on. This means that the birds, they have more warning when the cats are approaching them.
Very true. Okay, so that's everything she just said. Very smart.
When I was young, I was lucky enough to wake up to birds in the morning. And I always said to myself, even as a really young girl, wherever I end up in life, I hope I can wake up every morning hearing birds. Amen. Thanks for watching today. If you have enjoyed the episode, please do give it a like and comment below if you have any questions. Also subscribe to...
Awesome. I could have watched this and we could have gotten more. I could watch this for like
hours.
Well, I mean, I do. You know that I did.
Yes,
during quarantine, I did literally, this is how I found YouTube. I never really watched YouTube. I watched live bird cams all over the world, a lot more here than other places. And it was just relaxing, and we'd be watching all kinds of different wildlife bird live streams. But it's so relaxing, and it's just something so amazing. You put yourself back into nature. It's just, you're closer to, I don't know, just, you just feel lighter. I enjoyed that deeply. There were so many cool birds in that. I do think that your goldfinch, I do prefer ours just because I grew up with it and it was my grandma's favorite. So I have a very strong emotional attachment to it, but yours is very pretty. I didn't expect the reddish orange face. No. That shocked me. The chaffinch was really interesting too. Never heard of it, never seen it, and any of those that I've watched. Did you have one that stuck out to you?
Not one in particular, just some pieces of information that stuck out to me. Like in the beginning, she was talking about it's usually the male birds that sing the songs.
Yeah, you didn't know that here?
I didn't.
Really? No. Oh, okay.
I went the female. And it seems to be always the male birds more colorful, brighter, more attractive.
It's always the way it is.
So they have to do the singing, they're attractive, and they have to get the female to like them. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I have so many nerdy things I can tell you about birds. We'll be here all day, so I'll stop. But you know, like the video, guys, if you did, and also if you like birds and if you like my friends, and consider subscribing to the channel. I really enjoyed that very much. I love animals, except reptiles, and birds are up there for me because they're just so relaxing. They just make me feel calm. You know, it's a de-stressor for me in my life. It's something, like I said, I grew up with my grandpa. And it was a very amazing bonding thing, and that just stuck with me. And I've been wanting to do this video for so long. I'm so glad we did it. I'm so happy to do this.
We finally did it.
Finally did it, and I really hope you like it. Share with your friends and family too, if you did. And you know, let us know. Do you watch birds? Do you have feeders in your backyard? What are your favorite birds? What birds do you get in your backyards? Back gardens, front gardens, whatever. And what areas do you live with the specific birds that you get? I would love to know this information. So thank you so much for watching this. Again, I really hope you enjoyed it. I had a blast with it. Did you enjoy it?
It was amazing. Loved it.
Awesome. We will be back on Sunday as usual. Until then, guys, love like jazz.
Be as strong as Tyson.
Bye-bye.
Bye.